It's about them. It's no longer about you.
You know that there's going to be things that you can't shield them from, but you could never imagine what those things would be.
The couple never imagined harm would come under the care of the children's grandmother.
We trusted them to watch our son because, I respect her family.
This story is about Tracey Nix. She was a former principal, a teacher, Sunday school teacher. She sings in the choir. She worked in Hardy County for 39 years as a principal and an educator. She was arrested for aggravated manslaughter of her granddaughter. Let's go back prior to the granddaughter's death. Her daughter, Kayla Nix, and Drew Shook were ready to build their family. They said they wanted 3 children. In December of 2021, Kayla Nix was pregnant with their second child, a little girl, and at that time, she already had a 16-month-old son named Ezra. Ezra got out of the house, went under a fence, opened doors, and was found in the pond outside of his grandmother's home. The grandfather had gone to Walmart, and the grandmother, Tracey Nix, had fallen asleep. Drew Shook was called, saying that his 16-month-old son, Ezra, had died. He said when he rolled up to the house, there was ambulances and police, and he just could not believe that his 16-month-old son was gone. Okay. This was in December of 2021. Remember, Kayla Nix is pregnant at the time with a little girl, Ariel. Fast forward to November the 1st of 2022, Tracey Nix picked up 7-month-old Ariel while Kayla went to a hair appointment. Tracey took Uriel out to lunch with friends and then brought her back to her home. She got out the car, went in the house, and forgot that Uriel was in the back seat. It was 90 degrees outside. She went in the house, she played with her dog, and then she practiced on the piano. Another grandchild walked through the door, and when that grandchild walked through the door, that made her think about Uriel, who was in the car. They tried to give her CPR, but unfortunately, Uriel was deceased. So now you have a grandmother who has had 2 of her grandchildren by her daughter to die in her custody. The question that I have for you is, what would you do in a situation like this? If this was your mother and if these were your children? Would you be angry at your mother? Would you forgive her? Would you want to see justice? Would you want her to go to jail? Because me personally, I don't think that this lady did this intentionally. And I also think that they need to do a mental health evaluation along with medical evaluations, because it seems to me that this lady has a problem with short-term memory, maybe an onset of dementia or Alzheimer. I don't know. But I don't think she deserved to go to jail, because I believe in her own head she is already in jail. And she will be stuck there for the rest of her life. 2 of her grandchildren died in her care. And I don't think this lady will just get over this right away. She seems attentive to her grandchildren. She seems like she loves them and playing with them. She's raised kids of her own. But this is what this story is about. Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. What justice, would you want justice? Would you just forgive your mother? Her husband, of a children's father, said that he don't know if he can forgive her, not even as a Christian. Well, if you're not able to forgive somebody and you call yourself a Christian, then you're not a very good Christian. Because the Bible says you have to forgive, but you don't have to forget. But if somebody spiked you 70 times in a day, you should forgive them. Just saying. I didn't write the Bible. I'm just quoting it. Here goes the story. Y'all pay attention to y'all kids. Pay attention to who you leaving your kids with. Does the person seem kind of off sometimes? Are they not there sometimes? I believe this lady has some type of medical situation going on with her, or some type of mental health or physical health situation going on with her. Here goes the story. My condolences go out to this entire family because it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect Taylor's family, and it's going to affect the father's family. These were small children that I'm sure that everybody loved and wanted to have in their life, and now they're gone. But now her mother is also gone because she will never be the same. Welcome to Straddled Events. On this channel, we bring you the truth. Sometimes the truth is quite ugly, unbearable, and you just don't want to deal with it. But on this channel, you're going to get it anyway. You are straddled the fence of good versus evil, right versus wrong. And on this channel, we're going to tell you to do better. Please like, dislike, subscribe, and share the videos. Now let's go.
Wauchula, Florida, a small town along Main Street in Hardy County. Population less than 5,000. Tracey Nix and Drew Schock grew up here and reconnected 5 years ago after what began as a high school friendship. They soon decided to have kids and raise their children where they had roots.
This was the plan. We were going to have 3 kids, and that, you know what I mean. That was our goal.
My mom was a principal.
Kayla's mom, Tracey Nix, now at the center of their family's story.
Here we are.
A story they're here to share.
It's really difficult to know that my mom is the one, that broke his heart here. My mom.
According to the complaint affidavit, on November 1st, 2022, Kayla was going to get her hair done and asked her mom to babysit. Tracey met friends for lunch, drove home, and forgot her granddaughter in the back seat of her 2019 Lexus, with the windows rolled up. She went inside, talked to her dog, and practiced the piano. When one of her grandsons arrived, all of a sudden it came across her head that Uriel was in the back seat all afternoon. Her husband immediately began CPR. Temperatures in Wauchula that day reached 90 degrees. Uriel died. She was 7 months old.
To think of the last moments of her life as a mother is gut-wrenching.
A little girl. How do you forget a little girl?
After identifying his daughter at the hospital, Drew remembers,
We're out in the parking lot just trying to grasp out what just happened, and that it actually just happened twice in our lifetime.
Twice in less than a year. 16-month-old Ezra, Uriel's brother, also died while under his grandmother Tracey's care.
911, where is your emergency?
That's a little baby. The grandmother's out giving him CP. Is he breathing? No.
Okay, it was a pond,
Yeah.
and they're not sure how long the child was in the pond?
No.
Drew got the first call 3 days before Christmas 2021.
He goes, something happened to Ezra, and that's when I just called Kayla, and she goes, what? And I said, I don't know, I'm heading there now.
I could see the helicopter landing, and I didn't look when there was a stop sign. I was in a full head-on collision, and I was going 85 miles an hour in that case, 6 months pregnant. But I got out and started running to my parents' house, and at this point I don't have shoes. I'm just running. That was my desperation to get to my son.
Kayla says her doctor told her she needed to make a choice.
They withheld information from me. Any information that would work me up or make me emotionally distressful would be harmful to my unborn child. And I knew in that moment that as much as I loved him, that she was a real life and she was coming, and it would be wrong of me to lose it over him and hurt her and take her.
Kayla and Drew had never seen the incident report detailing how Ezra drowned in a nearby pond the afternoon his grandmother fell asleep. In the report, the detective wrote, a complaint affidavit for child neglect will be forwarded to the state attorney's office for further review.
I didn't know that they had ever attempted to file charges.
Kayla says she will never forget what a deputy told her.
I was told that unless I believed that my mom held my son's head under the water and intentionally killed him, that there is nothing else that they can do about my son's death.
In a statement, the state attorney's office said, in cases involving the accidental drowning of a toddler, Florida appellate courts have stated that a one-time lapse of judgment would not establish culpable negligence of the caretaker.
His story has gotten lost in hers.
After the death of
Ezra.
your son, did you trust your mom?
No.
No, we didn't trust her at all. Like I said, that's why we never let Asher go over there.
Asher, their now 4-year-old firstborn.
We were anxious, but I loved my mother, and I am a daughter that wanted her mom. I thought that if I could believe in second chances, and so when I was told that Ezra's death was an accident, some sliver child part of me thought, okay, good, I get to keep this mom, this grandmother, this person.
3 months after Ezra's death, Kayla gave birth to their baby girl.
There wasn't a moment to get a grip of the death of my son before there was the life of my daughter. And how beautiful is that? Her name is Uriel, and it means, it's a Hebrew name, and it means God is my light. He's so cute.
Kayla and Drew were protective.
The very, very minor amount of time that she saw my daughter was almost always supervised.
On her daughter's last day, Kayla says she knew her mom's plans.
Yuri was at a restaurant with other people that I knew and trusted.
Within hours, someone from the sheriff's office showed up at her home.
And said that your baby is dead. And I said, I'm sorry, what? I know Ezra's dead. Why are you here? Why are you, like, what is this? No, Kayla, your baby is dead.
2 children now who are no longer here. You know what I mean? Somebody has to answer for that.
But Tracey's attorney, William Fletcher, says it depends.
But because somebody dies doesn't necessarily mean that somebody has to pay. And this obviously was an accident, and the question was, is it culpable negligence?
Fletcher told us Tracey Nix will not be making any public statements.
Tracey loves her daughter and her son-in-law and all of her children and her grandchildren.
What is she feeling?
Totally devastated, totally devastated.
Why did you choose to take on this case?
It was so incredible. I can't conceive of the pain. I got a couple grandkids, and you feel the same way about your grandkids. So it's not, you know, the parents are hurting, but so are the grandparents are hurting too. So there's no winners here, certainly no winners. Everybody, I mean, it's just total devastation. They're very fine people, and decided I'd take it. I know you've heard sometimes people have been struck by lightning 2 different times, and that's the way I look at this case.
We sat down and spoke with Kayla and Drew, the parents, and they say that they want justice in this case. What do you think justice looks like here?
Looking at the facts, looking at what really happened, as far as Uriel, the baby girl, which is what the charge what the jury should be focused on and deciding is this culpable negligence.
Fletcher says if found guilty, Tracey could be sentenced to between 12 and 30 years in prison.
So then if I'm objective, she needs to go to prison. As her daughter, it kills me to say it. As their mother, I demand it.
I want justice for my son, so that way I don't let what happened to my son happen with my daughter and her just get scot-free because I couldn't live with that as a parent.
We asked what they would want Ezra and Uriel to know.
That we loved them and that we're sorry.
These parents have lived through a double tragedy.
It was the very worst moment, I think, until the next worst moment.
First, their 18-month-old son Ezra drowned in a pond at his grandmother's house. Then, to compound their loss, less than a year later, their 8-month-old daughter lost her life after being left in a hot car for hours. And they're blaming both deaths on this woman, the grandmother. Parents Kayla and Drew felt good about leaving their son with Kayla's mom. After all, she was a well-respected retired school principal.
The children absolutely loved it there.
But 2 days before Christmas 2021, Grandmom Tracey Nix fell asleep on her couch. Somehow, 18-month-old Ezra got out of her house. He was found face down in the pond on their property.
911, where is your emergency?
That's a little baby. The grandmother's out giving him CP. Is he breathing? No.
Here's Amber Cogliano.
The grieving parents did forgive the grandmom, believing the drowning of their son was a tragic accident. You trusted her. She's your mother.
Absolutely.
In their grief, a time of joy. 3 months after Ezra drowned, Kayla gave birth to their daughter Yuri. They even let Grandmom babysit again.
And here's where the story takes a heartbreaking turn when the unthinkable happens.
Tracey Nix went to lunch with her girlfriends. She took baby Yuri with her. When she returned home, she went inside to practice the piano, forgetting that she had left Yuri in the car seat. Several hours passed. Then she realized her horrifying mistake. She ran to her car, but it was too late. She found the baby dead in the scorching vehicle.
And I'm having deja vu right when I'm pulling up because I'm seeing the exact same scene that I seen when I pulled up with Ezra. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I never in a million years would have thought again.
They told me that my baby was dead.
Did you just go into complete shock? I mean, the pain must have been unbearable.
Absolutely. I absolutely remember
I called Kayla
fully putting my phone down and screaming.
Now grandmother Tracey Nix has been arrested, charged with aggravated manslaughter in the death of baby Yuri. Kayla has not spoken to her mom since the day her second baby died.
To know that ultimately the person that brought me into the world is the person that destroyed his world, my son. That's just unbearable.
Attorneys for Tracey Nix say she is devastated by the loss of her grandchildren.
You always hear people getting struck by lightning twice, people win the lottery even twice. I mean, here you have the lottery of tragedy, and it's hit twice. I mean, it's one of the most unfortunate things I've ever heard of, and our heart absolutely, goes out to that family.
On social media, the tragedy is sparking lots of questions. Why on earth would parents leave another child in her care?
Of course we're aware of the comments being said. Of course I have read really difficult things. And we're human. We feel that.
The grieving parents say they want justice, even if it means sending grandmom to jail.
What do you think should happen to your mom?
I do think that she should be criminally charged. I think that she should be criminally punished.